Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In all our previous videos, we haven't used the Visual Studio 2017 IDE to generate a full-fledged ASP.NET application. In this video, we will get introduced to Visual Studio 2017 and design our first web form. So we will also handle the button click event to do the processing of the web form. Visual Studio provides tools to generate web content for ASP.NET projects. So we have to create a project, a ASP.NET project, and from there we can do our other designing as well as coding activities. We can add web form and place user navigable elements in it. So Visual Studio will provide you the designing surface, and using that designing surface you can drag and drop the controls to the web form and design your web form based on the server side controls which is displayed on the toolbox. The IDE helps in designing the form while viewing. So once you drop a button, you know where the button is and how it looks during the design itself. In this video, we will get introduced to the web form and how to design that using the Visual Studio 2017. Now let's go to the demo. Now we are in Visual Studio 2017. Choose File, New, Project. Cancel. File, New, Project. Select the web category in the left pane, then choose ASP.NET Web Application. So here we will choose ASP.007 server-side controls, and let's use our previous location and click OK here. So this will present one more form. So make sure to select the empty project and make sure all are cleared out here. Choose OK. This will generate the project. So the ASP project is created here, and you can see the project name is server side controls. Here choose add new item, and so it's already sorted, right? When you browse down, you will see web form, or you can do that in the search template and pick web form. Here you can see all the web form related control. Here we are choosing web form. Let's name this web form as default. And click the add button. So this will add the default.aspx. So this is the web form, and you can see the code window also opened here in the left side pane. So now we will close this output pane or unpin it. and we will switch to design view. At present we are in source view. You can see that it is marked with a rectangle here. Now we are in the design view. Here we will type login screen. So here if you see, you are designing the web form, and we are designing the web form and we just typed login screen. Here we are highlighting this login screen, and let's look at some of the style here and choose H2 from the displayed drop down. So now the content is marked with H2, and if you go to the source view, you can see H2 is highlighted. So now it will show the full content of the HTML, but when you highlight specific element and switch to source view, it will show which element you selected in the design. And you can see the login screen is placed in H2, right? Because we selected H2 here. So let's have this in a selected state and choose foreground color. The tooltip is showing, right? Foreground color. We'll pick that and choose a blue color, then click OK here. So now the content is changed in blue color, and if you look at the source, it added a class called AutoStyle1, right? And here is the style attribute. So it's a CSS now, right? The CSS selector states AutoStyle1. The dot AutoStyle represents the selector. Any element with that specific style will get selected. So here login screen H2 element is marked with this specific selector, and the color change is applied to this H2 element. So all these stuffs are done in the background, and if you see, you are simply making the color change in that design. So all the background works are done by the Visual Studio IDE. So it just added the style tag in the header section of the HTML, defined the CSS rule selector AutoStyle1, and applied that AutoStyle1 to the H2 element here. Alright, so let's select this login screen again, and if you see, this login screen is placed inside the div. Let's select the div. Once you select div, in the bottom pane you can see that a specific div tag is selected, right? That's the div tag. Let's select it again, div tag, and switch to properties. And you can see the style here. So previously we applied style for our login screen using the toolbox. This time we are going with a more detailed styling, and we selected div and going to apply styling for it. Click on this ellipsis button. It will present you with the style dialog. So click on the font here. Choose the font family. Here let's choose Verdana font and font size as large. And that's all. Let's click OK, and you can see the div is applied with the selected style. Div style font family, whatever we selected there, font size equal to large. So if you add some control inside it, that will appear in a bigger font or in large font. Now we will switch to design. We are inside this div tag, right? And you can see the div tag is highlighted. So toolbox is initializing. Let's wait for some time. Okay, it's ready now. We will expand the standard control and place a label here within the div tag. Let's go to the source, and if you see, it presents the ASP label. So hitting enter like this will not format the control. You can see it will display in the same line. What we have to do, we have to introduce a break here. I'm just doing the BR tag. Save this, and if you go to design, you can see the label is displayed in the second line. Now we will access the property. I mean, we need label control, right? Choose label and then choose property, and here in the text you can just say your name. So it displays your name here, right? Next, we will place a text box control, and here you can see the text box. I am just dragging and dropping it here. The cursor shows that the vertical bar here shows that where it will appear. Drop the control and you can see the text box is placed here. So if you want to set properties for that, you can do that, but here for this time we are accepting the default name. So here it is text box 1, and if you want to do some formatting, you can do that as well. Here it is ASP label, right? Keep it here, ASP label, and here is ASP text box, right? You can see we added this manually in our previous video. This time ASP.NET is adding this control entry, and you can see run at server, it is placing it automatically, right? Form ID equal to form1 run at server, that's also here. Alright, now we will switch back to the design, and we need a BR here, right? For that, let's go, and after the text box we will introduce a BR tag because we need the button in the next line. Or you can hit enter here, Control C. That's going with a new tag. So let's have the design, the source window. You can also drag and drop control here so that you can see where the control is going. After the BR tag, we are placing the button, ASP button, button 1. Alright, now if you go to design surface, you can see the button is placed here. So we designed our form. Now we will handle the button click event. For that, in the design surface, select the button, go to properties, or you can access property by right clicking it and switch to the events tab. So at present, the yellow mark here shows that you are in property window and the properties are sorted out A to Z. If you click here, it will be grouped. Properties are grouped. Let's go with the alphabetical listing of the property, and we will switch to the events. Remember, the selected UI is button, and that is displayed here in the bottom. The control name is button 1, and it's from system.web.ui.web controls, right? Button. Switch to the event, and here we will handle the click event. So when you choose the down arrow, it is showing page load. Instead, click here, then double click. So it handles the button click event and places the code behind file default.aspx.cs and presents you with the button handler function. Now let's go to our default.aspx file and click save all. Then go to source, and if you look at the button, this time there is one more attribute added to that button. and this time it states that on click button 1 click, and if you come to code behind file, you can see the button click 1. Code behind file, you can suppose if this CS file is in closed state, you can bring it back by expanding the ASPX file, and you can see there is a 2 code behind file. This is the designer file which is used by Visual Studio, and we don't want this right now. We will just double click and open this code behind file, default.aspx.cs. so this states that this C# file is for default.aspx ASP file. Here you can start typing your code. So here if you see text box 1, previously when we opened the ASP as a flat file, it doesn't display any tooltip, right? Now let's state that you are coding by typing the text. When you type txt, it will show all the intelligence. We know that we need a text box 1, so we are accessing the control by its ID. If you look at here, this is the ID, right? So text box control space to display the tooltip again. Text box 1 dot, this time it shows all the property that you can apply to it. So here we are just taking the text and doing the response dot write. So in the response dot write, first in the first line we are stating the username is br, that means breaking the line, and in the next line we are printing the name entered by the user. If you see, when you run the file, it will present the file to the user as a GET request initially, and it displays the whatever form you designed. It will display this form. User will enter their name here, then they will click the button, and if you want to change the button caption, you can go to property, switch back from from event to properties, and in the text they send. So this will be meaningful now. So user will type their name and they will click send, and this time it will be post. For the very first time when the form is displayed, it is GET request. User will type their name in the text box, they will click send, and this will post the request to the IIS. When post is happening, we know that page life cycle, right? In the page life cycle, it makes call to page load, then it will run the click events as well. So here in the click event button click event, we are taking the content of the text box. So user types something, right? We will take that content and we are sending that back. So when we are sending it, before sending this, we are just stating the username is whatever user typed that we are sending. Alright, now we will go ahead and rebuild the solution. In the output window, you will see the build status. Build is succeeded. Now you can go ahead with debug. Start without debugging. This will launch the IIS Express and opens the browser. So you see localhost, and it opens that in a different port number. So login screen, your name, and here we'll type Ramkumar and click the send button. So this time if you see, we browsed for this ASPX file for the first time, so it's a GET request. Now when I'm clicking send, it will post the data. View page source, you can see the form here somewhere. This is the form opening tag, and here you can see form. As part of GET request, the HTML is rendered, and when it is rendering, that time itself it states method as post. So whatever user interact with the form. Once they click the save or send button, the action will be post. I mean the method will be post and action takes place on the same file, default.aspx file. Right, ID is form1. Let's close this and to the send button. I mean we will click the send button and it will run the code here and sends back the response to the browser. And you can see the username is Ram Kumar. The username is, since there is a BR, the text box content is appearing in the next line. Right, that's all here. This time we designed the form, we handled the event, and this was our first ASPX .NET form developed using the Visual Studio 2017 IDE. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.